Hey everybody, welcome to the Maw of Mike with me, Mr. Michael Curtis, the Director of Product Development here at Goodman Games. And it's been a while. I mean, I almost forgot how to do the show. We came into the Maw of Mike studio after having it closed since last July, and this place was a mess. I mean, there were cobwebs all over the place. I think Elena left some milk in the refrigerator because and there was something in there, and we had to fumigate for man bats. I mean, this place was a mess. But I think we got to go in here again. I think it's I think we're okay. So so we're gonna get back into and try to remember what we do for an hour here, typically on the first Monday of every month. But since this is September, so the first Monday of this month was Labor Day. So we weren't going to basically make you listen to me because you guys are all probably barbecuing anyway. But now we're back. So a week into September, I hope everybody is like settling in. I hope you're depending where you are, the fall is getting in and you're feeling good. The summer's over and now it's all about that new part. So lots of new stuff coming down the line. Some of the stuff we'll be talking about tonight. And but before I just want to comment is that we did Gen Con 2022. So if wow, that was a week of my life that I was just going to say is it has been the most ambitious Goodman Games event ever. I hope some of you stopped by. I hope some of you were there. I hope some of you were watching at home. We twitched a lot of it. They had for 2 days. It seemed like Elena and I were in the secret bunker just broadcasting random stuff. and if you missed the synopsis of Chris Doyle and me and Joe Goodman just rambling for an hour about at the end of the show talking about people having arms chewed off by alligators and so on. You missed a heck of a show. so I'm just going to say, I don't know if it's still available out there, but you can find it. Just check it out. So we had a wizard van, we had a ziggurat, we sold every copy of the Dungeon Crawl Classics rulebook that we brought to Indy. We did not go home with a single one. So there's probably some people who are going to be watching the show probably for the first time. So so what's this show all about? This show is the monthly show where I have some guests on. We talk about what's coming along down the line for releases, kind of the status updates of things that's happening. Give you updates about where some certain Kickstarters are, what's being released, and give you basically a behind the scenes look of what's happening. So so that's basically it. This is kind of it's a way to spend an hour on a Monday night here in Dungeon Crawl Classics land. So so we're going to take a quick break for a little while, and we're going to bring on our first guest in a little bit. You may notice him, you may know him from past interactions on a little show that we do on the side. But all right, but we'll be back very soon with my first guest, so just stick around. Hey everybody, I'm back. I told you it wouldn't be long. And with me is Mr. Brendan LaSalle. Brendan.
Hello.
Hey, welcome, my co-host from the perpetually delayed Keep Crawling with Mike and Brendan. But maybe we'll get to that before the evening's over. So
I hope we do. Great to see you, Mike.
Good to see you too, man. So you it probably comes to no surprise to anybody who knows you. You just came back from a con, which
I did. I
and
absolutely
it wasn't
did.
MomoCon. That's yeah.
No, not MomoCon this time. No, I was at one of my favorite little shows, RinCon, out in Tucson, Arizona, which this year was combined with the Tucson Comic-Con. So this is actually my very first ever Comic-Con, so it was really interesting. I saw Jim Shooter, y'all. What?
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I stood 10 feet from him. I took a picture. It's amazing. You know what I mean? He had his he had a whole array of all his art out there, and I was like, oh, I didn't know what he looked like. I was like, I didn't know, so it was mind-boggling. You know what I'm saying? It was it was pretty cool. It was very, very cool being there combined.
I could imagine. I mean, I'm a Chris Claremont guy from way back, and I mean, he was originally from Long Island too, so he's a local boy. So so I got to give him props for that. But that's awesome. I have never been to RinCon. I knew nothing about it except for the fact that is also where the Warehouse Yeti pops up from time to time. That's his local con. So so it's always good to see Goodman Games alumni. You were hanging out with him running games and such. So
I absolutely was, and it was great to see him. And he asked to be remembered to all of y'all, all of us, and all of y'all, and very much misses being a part of the whole Goodman Games thing. But I say he's always a part. His the spirit of the desert Yeti shall always be watching over us. from his place far, far, far in the Southwest.
All right. Whoa, Sapphire 76 just subscribe for 6 months.
Oh, hey, thanks, Sapphire. What a way to be. Way to be.
Now I feel like I have to produce stuff. So so what'd you run out of Rincon?
I ran, I hadn't been there in so long that I got to run kind of a, panoply, but I did sneak in a play test of a new adventure that I'm working on, a new holiday adventure that I'm very excited about. So excellent. I don't know how far, I'm like edging here. How close can I get to this?
Well, it's like I have to have content. I have to time Sapphire 76 for 6 months. So can't talk about it right now. Just like, we'll bring you around. We'll talk more about that later. We'll be on closer to actual holidays, so we'll talk about that. But speaking of events that are not holidays, there's a purpose that you are on here to talk about something that is near and dear to your heart. And this is actually this is our first time doing this, isn't it?
This is our very first time doing it. Yes.
So why don't you lay it on to the people what you're here to talk about there, Mr. Brendan?
I absolutely will. So I am here indeed to talk about the Road Crew Game Day. So Road Crew Game Day, that is going to be this upcoming. Oh my God.
In a week from, so it's 2 Saturdays from now. Is this
2 Saturdays from now? Yes, it is. It's Saturday the 24th. So we're going to have, basically this is going to be a day for the road crew, like a road crew appreciation day. They're all going to get to come and play games with some of the creators and some Goodman Games luminaries. And, it's going to be a fantastic time, a chance for us to say big thanks and a chance for us to, let them lay aside the heavy burdens of running DCC RPG and get to be players for once in a while, I think the road crew very often they're like myself, who are people who are sort of like, nature's dungeon masters, GMs, judges, and they don't get, they don't get to play a whole lot. So hopefully we'll give them a day to have fun and play with the likes of amongst others, some very big names, including Harley Stroh and Marzio Muscadere. So and other special guests with more events to be named. So I'm excited about it. It's gonna be a good time.
All right, that sounds good. So is it now? This is just for Road Crew people. Is that what's the deal? Yes. Like if some schmo off the streets who's never run a Road Crew game wants to come to Road Crew Day, no dice.
Sorry, schmo. You gotta sign up for the Road Crew and run. Although I guess you have time. I guess you can get out there and run a couple of games between hither and yon. But
you have to learn the Road Crew secret handshake in order to get in and everything.
Grip. Road Crew DAP. We should have a special Road Crew DAP. I'm gonna start working on that for next year, Mike.
I think you just have to memorize all the lyrics of Motorhead's "We Are the Road Crew." I think that be able to do that at the drop of a hat. That's it.
I love it. I love it. Yeah,
so it's gonna be. So then have the secret invites then already gone out to Road Crew? So do Road Crew people?
They have not. So we are working. We're getting the platform together right now, and by very soon we will have a breakdown for the Road Crew of how to sign up for games, what games will be available. We're leaving it up to the judges to choose the platform. So some people are using Roll20, some people I'm just going to use Zoom as I always do. So the full details will be forthcoming real quick, but I had to talk about it tonight because I'm on Maw of Mike. There was no way I was not going to do it,
Yeah, because it was worth mentioning because I know some people would be like, hey, wait a minute, I run 127 games with the Road Crew and I haven't heard anything about this. What's going on?
You have not, yeah. I think the very first announcement went out today. This is the pre-announcement, but tomorrow or like coming up soon, all of the details shall be announced and shall be put out there for wide release. And I hope to see some of y'all come out there and run games for me. I'm running 2 myself, and I'm actually going to run 2 of my.
Any of these games be holiday themed by any chance?
Ooh, maybe. I might be running a holiday game. I'm. I wasn't going to so much to say, but I'm going to be running maybe a holiday adventure while setting up for it. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and I encourage, if you're in the Road Crew, I encourage you to to come and sign up and play some games. And if you're not, I think you should look into it. You can email me, Brendan at goodman-games.com, and I'd be happy to, answer any questions you might have about the road crew or any of those things. And if it takes me 7 days to get back to you, it's because I'm out of town. Sorry.
or you're gearing up to run games at road.
Yeah, it'll be
Now, see, one of the great things about being the director of product development for Dungeon Crawl Classic here at Goodman Games is that occasionally, when Joe's not looking, I get to sneak stuff out the back door. So this has not been officially announced yet, but I can confirm that anybody who is going to be attending Road Crew Game Day and on September 24th, that Saturday, may be able to get their hands on a little something that, Elena, if you've not showed it yet, could you pull that out of the back? We have another little token of appreciation for the Goodman Games Road Crew, and that is going to be an exclusive. I can't tell you too much about it, but let's just say if you ever wanted to get your hands on an actual wizard van in game, maybe this might be a way to do something. So there'll be a more official announcement about that coming later this week. But shh, keep it on your hats still. Don't tell Joe I showed you this. So this is a lot of fun. Terry wrote this adventure, so it's there's a lot of high weirdness in this, and it's good. It's first level too. So you can get a funnel, you can get your hands on a wizard van, and then the campaign just goes from there. So so all right. So thank you, Elena. All right. So that's it. So anything else like road crew related that you have in mind, Brendan? And I know the plans are afoot for road crew 2023. I know we have nothing's officially been announced, but there should be some discussions, and we're going to figure out what's basically what the theme is and what's going to be going on for this coming year. And
you are exactly right. And we got a lot of input from the Road Crew Advisory Council, who have been absolutely instrumental this year. And I want to say a big thanks to all members of the Road Crew Advisory Council for for coming and for meeting with me and for sending me so many ideas. Road Crew Game Day was actually one of their ideas. It came out from an idea that they had. So super grateful for them and all of their hard work. And we've gotten some suggestions, so we're starting to look at swag for next year and for different coolness things that we can do for next year. It's going to be I'm gonna say it right now. 2023 is gonna be a landmark year for the road crew. You don't want to miss out.
Hey, Brendan, we got a question for you.
Yes.
Any ETA on the road crew rewards for Game 7 and beyond?
Yes, announcement coming very soon. That's all I can say right now. But I'll tell you what, I think you'll be very happy. Promise.
Okay. All right. Hope that answers the questions. FIR76. And welcome, Spore Servant. We always like we also like our fungi themed people around here. We'll introduce you to the Magic Mike and
way to subscribe. Thanks, Spore.
So all right. So it's always good to hang out with you, Brendan. I was thinking, it has been traditional in the past when I was not in my role and you were not in your role, that we would do a Halloween show of Keep Crawling with Mike and Brendan. So, what do you think? You think maybe we should get together and do something? Maybe kick off a new season or something with a Halloween?
I would love to do that. That sounds so fantastic. I got all the horror movies I want to talk about. So yeah, let's do it. Let's why not?
Elena, we're just keeping you on our toes. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
No, that's it. We gotta keep stuff. Come on, that's it.
Dance.
It's spontaneous. That's it. This all happens as it goes. So. All right. Well, Brendan, thank you much for coming on and talking about road crew stuff. I'm sure people will enjoy it. And if you're not currently part of the road crew, please do send Brendan an email and try to get involved in this. And it's really, even if you're not wearing an awesome belt buckle by the end of the year, at least you get to, hang out with the road crew game day and maybe get exclusive modules and such. So there you go.
Be a part of the very best team in role-playing game running history, y'all.
Great.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. We're gonna take a brief break, and then we'll be back with my next guest. So, Brendan, thanks again for showing on, and everybody else, we'll be back in a couple. Hey, and we are back. And joining with me, joining with me, coming on the show next is Mr. Eric Young. Eric, welcome to the show. Thank you for being on here.
It is awesome to be here, man. It's just been so, after seeing the show a couple of times, being on this side of it, I gotta admit, it's awesome being here. Love the green room, wonderful stuff, wonderful collection of Appendix N. Had to drag me away from the bookshelf to be here, but
Well, I do appreciate you coming on the show because, for people who are maybe not, as I said, we're probably getting some new people in the show and everything. Basically, the reason that you're on the show here tonight is to talk about something which is near and dear. So I don't technically know, since this is kind of a volunteer position, I guess you can kind of give yourself your own title. So would you classify yourself as currently like editor-in-chief of?
Editor-in-chief, publisher, chief cook and bottle washer,
Right.
coordinator. I basically have learned so much over the last way too long as this project started.
Right. So in other words, you are the latest in the line of poor suckers who are putting together the Gongfarmers Almanac, because that is basically what it comes down to, right?
Yeah, it has been absolutely informative. Sadly, with everything going on, first with COVID, and then that got going, and then then it started off with three of us. If Tim and Max are out there, Tim and Max, we're almost at the finish line, boys. We got this thing started, and we're almost there. We're almost there because unfortunately personal things happened, and both my two co-directors had to leave for personal reasons. And then so I got everything organized, and then it was just and then I turned into a blues song. One family tragedy after the next. So I had finally got some things going, got some stuff ready to get through layout, and then my mom had a fall. We had to get my parents into a care facility. Then my mom fell again. Then finally, after a while, everything calmed down, and we have something like 30 something pieces. Every single article that wanted art has art, and it looks phenomenal. Right. I'm just blown away by every single thing. It's like, oh, that's nice. And I'm like, oh, that's even nicer. It's like, oh, wow, look at all this stuff. It's just been phenomenal to see all the stuff that's come in. Everybody that wanted art got it. And it was just nice to see all of that coming together. 2 of the volumes are finished with layout. Just got to find a way to print, because when we started this, there wasn't going to be a Gen Con, so we hadn't planned on doing a published volume. But I'm going to figure out a way to get that taken care of. Luckily, I have access to some Xerox machines and just get some paper and try it that way. If that doesn't work, then we'll go to Plan B. Okay. Then we'll go to Plan B, but it's actually right now, it's actually about Plan X right now with the way this is going. But what's been great is the community people have been asking about it, and I just want to think of it's there. I can finally say everything is gathered for layout. We have 2 volumes ready to go, including some stuff from some of the younger generation. A volume that's tentatively called the kids table, because at the kids table, that's where the imagination runs wild. Some Definitely. Stuff from Corey Gashman's 2 kids, and some other work. It has just been phenomenal to see. But the person I really have to give credit through all this, the person who I ran to every time I needed help, an unsung light in the DCC community who needs more, is Jess McDevitt. Seriously, every time it's like I need something, like, Jess, I need your help. She's like, okay, what do you need? How about tomorrow? We got this. And she has just been anytime things got overwhelmed, I sent a message to her, Jess, can you talk for a second? And then she brought me back to being whelmed.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So, but before we get a little bit more into this, I just kind of for new viewers or people just coming in for the first time, they like because the DCC scene has kind of blown up since COVID. So so I don't think everybody's completely aware of like what exactly it is we're talking about here.
Okay.
So I think just an overview of the Gongfarmers Almanac is that for those you don't know is that the DCC community is some of the most creative and energetic people I have the honor of being part of. So this started back in 2015, if I remember correctly, was like the first one. And so the Gongfarmers Almanac is just a collection of, it's like a zine that is contributed to by the DCC fans as a whole. It's like Goodman Games. We don't have like like various people associated with Goodman Games volunteer time and like contributions like art and writing and everything like that, but it is entirely a product by the fans and for the fans. So so it's just I reached out to Eric because I knew that he was going through a lot of issues trying to kind of get this thing together, and I just wanted to say if there's anything that I can do in my role to help it help it come to fruition, I will do. But this we very much want to keep this as something for the fans and by the fans, everything like that. So we don't want this to become like a Goodman Games organ, because I think it's a much more creative environment when people aren't worried about like, okay, they have to kind of pay attention to what we care about. And to one point, we just want the Gongfarmers to put out really great stuff. So
and it develops. Those of you who are fans of the DCC RPG Rock site, Laz the Eye, Bob Brinkman wrote a wonderful patron write-up for that. If you're a fan of the old Saturday morning cartoons and the Saturday afternoon stuff, you could actually be a war cat as a character. That was developed. Daniel J. Bishop came up with just some phenomenal creature stuff. I don't know how that guy does it. Seriously, that man could you could give that man a cinder block and he'd make it an interesting creation. And it's just been phenomenal to see.
You said you have like the first 2 volumes laid out and pretty much ready to go at this point.
Yep.
You have an estimate like what the total, like how many volumes we're going to look at?
We have 6 volumes, but they're really thick. Most of them run pretty much the max 36 pages, and that includes maybe even a few more than that with the art and everything. We basically designed it to be about 36 pages each.
Okay.
So they are the one volume that came from the younger generation. It's a little bit shorter, but the rest of them are all pretty much probably going to be between like 32 and 36 pages. So they're going to be some thick volumes.
Right.
And I'm excited to get them out. It's just one of these things also with travel, me being unable to travel that much. I also have to find cons where they're available or find a way to get them to people who go to cons, which is the next thing I'll be reaching out to after I get everything laid out and all that.
So is the current plan is to wait for all 6 to be ready?
I am going to get the first 2 out for sure, because I'm in the Chicago area, and Game Hole ain't that far away. So I'll make sure at least the first volumes are out for that. If everything else, and for people who can't be there, I also plan on having them available in PDFs, because this is the nice thing about this zine is part of the Gongfarmers Almanac is it costs the person nothing, hands on it. It is truly a labor of love from everybody involved. And that's one thing I would like to appreciate to the community. When they asked what was going on, it was never a question of like, well, where is it? It's always, what can we do to help?
Yeah.
How can we get this thing moving? It has truly been an outpouring of everything that makes the DCC community great. It's just been, when I tell everyone's going like, oh, okay, we understand it's been a tough time, and it's been absolutely phenomenal. Everything's been just frustration, which I feel completely and I understand, but but finally everything is coming together. So it will be, so the volumes that are set and ready to go that are printed, I'll get as many printed as I can and get them up to Game Hole.
Yeah. You said you mentioned the fact that people they're contributing their time, they're contributing their stuff, and you brought a couple of pieces of art that we can share off. So I think Elena, I think we have those keyed up. We have two pieces. We have the first piece is by I think the first one that you sent me, which was looked like the diving bell, and that was by what I have from Knights of the North, right? With the yes, art. So, let me see. By Juicy Pilkus. I'm probably like totally bent, but he does like for the Knights on the North blog, I believe, right? So let's hold on. We're going to take a quick break and get this technical stuff straightened out. All right, hold on.
There we go. Sorry.
Oh wait,
I'm back.
Okay, there we go.
I'm back. There we go.
It's almost as if you've not had enough problems lately.
Yeah, no, it's just it's at least this one was a quick fix. Yay.
All right.
Yay. So
but if you missed the part where I was talking about it, I said the art that we have two pieces you brought up. One of the first one was from Jesse Pilkus, I believe, or
Jesse Pilkus from the infamous Knights of the North from Finland. Favorite Knights of the North, and that's for an article that was co-written by Ari Matipipo and Clayton Smanewski up in Minnesota. Okay. And the second one was Brad McDevitt's take on the official take on Law's the Eye, which is just, and both those art pieces do the articles justice. I mean, seriously, when I was first getting the stuff, when I was coordinating the writers, it's like this, I just kept reading over and over again. Okay, I've read it once. Like, now I'm going to read it again just because it's cool.
And then obviously that's for, I'm guessing that is for the patron write-up that Bob did, right?
That is for the patron write-up, and the art done by Jussie is basically for a creature called the Snow Remover 3, the Snow Remover, and it's kind of an MC. It has an MCC feel, but again, it could plug in easily to any sort of DCC adventure. And I'm just looking forward to getting this thing out to people, because it's been a wait, but it's gonna amaze the stuff that's out there.
So that brings me to the final important question: is once this is out the gate and everything, is that it? Is that you? I've had my time. That's it.
I'll be honest with you. I'm going to some of that's going to be the community, because I can understand this long wait, but I would happily stick around, either coordinate things like that, because any obstacle that comes up now, I'm pretty sure I've got the support system to figure out a way around it. Seriously, I'm not going to test fate by saying, what else can you do to me? Because then that's when fate goes, and let me show you. And they kind of do okay, let's go. But I would happily stick around, but if they need to go in another direction, I understand it completely, and I won't take it personal, because it's all about the community. Whatever I can do to get this out for the community, I am absolutely for.
So I'll throw down the challenge then. So if you've been out there and you've been complaining that there's been no Gongfarmers Almanac, and like, where is it, why is it delayed, and everything like that, put your money where the mouth is. You do 2023, you'll see what's going on there. That's it.
I mean, I will take on anybody who wants to coordinate or be one of the managing partners, whatever you want to call them. I'll happily take any help. I have no pride on this whatsoever.
Yeah. Start out with 3 people and whittle down to you. So,
Yeah, it's been a funnel.
You definitely leveled up. I'll tell you that much.
Thank you.
I think we skipped first level. We'll get you second level status just for bringing through this. All right.
Oh, looking forward to it. Looking forward to especially getting up to game hall, seeing some people game, getting paper copies out, having PDFs of the stuff that's available. I'm excited to see I'm excited to see the finish line.
Well, I'm glad you could come on the show, because I know people have been asking questions. I figure, give you the broadest platform whatsoever.
This is exactly what I needed, so I could get information out. Thank you for the invitation. When I saw your email, I'm like, Oh, how cool is that?
Well, we do our best. We do our, I try to do my own little part for the DCC community,
Well,
So,
thank you very much.
you're responsible for me having a job. So, you might be nice to the people and stuff. All right. Well, all right. So thank you very much for coming on, Eric.
It was truly a pleasure and truly a good time.
All right. We're going to take a quick break and I'll be back with my final guest of this evening. So get your funky dice out because we're going to be using them. All right. So I'll be back in a few. Hey everybody, I am back, and joining with me is Mr. Tom Anders, and some of you may know him as Impact Miniatures Tom. So Tom, welcome to the show. Thank you.
Pleasure to be here.
And we're going to talk dice for a little while because as we just discovered during the break, there's a lot of dice coming on down the line. So actually you and Goodman Games go back actually every year it gets longer and longer, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
But I remember when we came back in 2000, I think it was 2013 at this point, 2014. It was the first time that Goodman Games was back after DCC came out, because the first year DCC came out, we were not there because that was also the same year Joe had his first son. So we went back the next year and we had a little booth and we were selling DCC. People bought it and then they were like, "Where do you get the dice for it?" We didn't have any dice for it. And it was like, I think we sent people all over the place, and I think Copla had the who knew dice and everything, but there was a dice gap for the longest time.
Yeah, and even the Kaplow set. Yeah,
how did
even
that
the
come about?
Yeah, and even the Kaplow sets were missing one of the dice, so you would get 13 of the 14. So
Yeah, so Skunkworks is saying in the chat, he's like, "I bought a lot of plastic from you, Tom."
and it is very much appreciated. Trust me.
But your role came about quite by like just one of those classic stories of somebody ran into somebody on the floor of the vendors, the dealer, the exhibit hall in Gen Con, and like the rest of the history, right? That's basically how it came out.
So the story reference is I was a statistician before I started Impact, and I just started making weird dice because they were really interesting to me for probability and game use. And I did not have any game in mind when I started making them. I literally told my wife that it was a Field of Dreams experiment, that I didn't think they were used in games because they didn't exist, and that if they did exist, somebody would use them. I was not aware at that time that DCC was already using those dice. And so we're running our booth at Gen Con, and I have our dice because we were already making the 5, the 7, the 14. I had some dice from the UK for the 16. I had some dice from other companies. And so because of a mix of 3 different companies' dice, I actually had all 14 dice for DCC set being sold in my booth. They weren't all the same color. There was no uniform thing, but they were all there. And people discovered that and then ran over to the Goodman Games booth and told Mr. Goodman, "Hey, this guy over there, he's got all your dice." And so I did not play DCC. Like I said, I made the dice on just a Field of Dreams type situation. My business partner did. Now, why he never told me about this, I still to this day do not know. But I'm working the booth. I have my back turned. All of a sudden, my business partner comes and grabs my shoulders and said, "Joseph Goodman is at the front of the booth." And I, unfortunately, was like, who is that? And he's like, "He owns Goodman Games, and it's a really cool game. Go talk to him." I'm like, "All right." So I go and talk to him, and thus starts the discussion of, "Hey, you've got all these dice, and no one has ever made a full set of all 14 of my dice in a single color. And can you do it?" And we start discussing the few dice that were missing, like the D3 and everything was not how we won. And so we plan out the design, and that has started what has honestly been a life-changing experiment for me. My company started as a miniatures company that dabbled in dice, and we are essentially now a dice company that does miniatures because I still love where I started. So.
Right. And it's a pain in the butt to change the name at this point. You have to file all new paperwork.
I have actually been told we should change our name to Impact Dice, and I was like, one, I have logos. I have I have shirts, for God's sake. I'm not redoing all.
It's like when a woman gets divorced and she keeps her married name because she just doesn't want to do that paperwork again. It's like, I totally understand. Yeah.
And I just actually received a trademark last week. I've been working on that for years. So I now have Impact Miniatures is officially trademarked. So yeah, now even more fuel on that fire of why it's going to stay. So
the first set that I remember, like the first kind of like official DCC set was the Hugh and Shayna set.
Yep. White with red ink was where we started.
Was that 2015 or 2016? Do you remember off the top of your head? I think
15, 16. Yeah. 15 sounds right. I'd have to check. Maybe 15 or 16.
Yeah, there's that area. No,
because that was the very first set, and then the Shauna dice was the second set, the black with gold.
Yeah, the black as I said, a white dice instead of black dice to begin with, and then from there it's just gotten stranger and stranger.
And after that was Chuck, which was green, and then the light purple, and yeah, so.
so do you remember, do you know offhand like how many different official DCC sets you've made over the course of the time? Do you know? I
would have been able to tell you that until like the last 4 months, because really quick for the viewer home, during the break we realized in our list of talking about dice coming up that we forgot 5 sets. So I mean there have been a lot of projects going on, and we're making dice, and we're trying to catch up, because one of the things I continuously hear from people is I can't get these dice in my game store. Mm-hmm. So we're really trying to up production, up what we're the colors that we're making to make them more available.
Right. And I know one of the goals has been to get like just the 7 weird dice sets up on Amazon, so people can, pick those up and what have you. And
that was a good, I get an email from Mr. Goodman, and he's like, I have a quest for you. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm ready, man. What do you got? And he says, so Kaplow never asked me to sell the Who Knew set. And it always comes up when someone buys the DCC rulebook that they should buy this dice set. And he goes, I want them to buy your dice set instead. So he sent me on a quest to basically work with my production people to get a set of 7 dice at a price point that we could put them on Amazon, to the point where Amazon recommended them instead of the Who Knew set. And we achieved that about a year ago, and that was a big day for me when Amazon all of a sudden now says get this 7 dice set from Impact instead. So I felt good. He's only given me ever one real quest, and that we achieved it.
Well, it's funny is because that quest basically almost perfectly coincided with me taking the position as director of product development, because one of the first emails I said is this is the plan. So I have Tom working on it, and then because we put the insert, it's usually some game material in it, and you sent me the size of the tube that we were going to use, and then I had to figure out how big of an insert we could put in that, and it was literally me doing arts and crafts at home, like cutting out like things and trying to fold it, put it in and everything, so to still get something into, because if the tube's only this big, the tubes are normally this big, we lost about half of our page.
Oh yeah, and trying to find that was a trick. We actually ended up, the tubes that we ended up picking for the small 7 sets, those are actually used for golf balls.
Oh, it makes sense to me. Yes,
that's. I found someone who produced golf ball for they hold 2 golf balls and I think 5 tees is the size of the tube.
So, well, we certainly can't get any tees in that. Then we have the 7 dice in there because there's like no room. So, so sorry if you play DCC and you also golf. You're responsible for getting your own tees. We can't help you out there. No. So let's talk about some of the dice which are actually like on their way, or are currently in the process of everything. Yeah, the ones that we remembered. We can cover the ones that we forgot about at the very end of the segment. But the first one we're going to come in is because this is coming up with the Dying Earth Kickstarter, which I will say now. Usually I kind of people give you an update at the end of the show. The backer kit fingers crossed, everything is going to plans, is about 2 or 3 weeks out. So if you have back dying Earth in about 2 or 3 weeks, backer kit will be coming out, and we're hoping if all goes well, the Ironstone dice will be shipped in October. So these are you can hopefully have these before the holidays. So Elena, can you show the Ironstone dice if you will, please? Okay, all right. So this was a funky set. This wasn't the one. No, this wasn't the one that got like basically held up in or was that wasn't there set in like dying, or somebody had to sneak into an office and take pictures because like the office was shut down or something, or they couldn't.
We did have that happen, but I think this was that one. I was asking them for images because they were on COVID shutdown. I'm like, man, we were trying to make sure, get approval for how it was going to look. I didn't have the label. I do now.
Okay, all right.
There's what the label is. So you actually get, in the insert, you get an actual new Ion Stone rolls for the Dying Earth DCC. And that was a really interesting project because Mr. Goodman came to me and said, I want to make a set that works with the Dying Earth concept of Ion Stones. And then he tells me that they were described as coming in 7 colors: lavender, pale green, pink and green, pink, carmine, which I had to look up, red and blue, and incandescent blue. And I said, there's no way we can put all those colors on a single die. And so then it just started a whole discussion because it's very difficult. Like if I want to order one die of a certain color, I have to order like 5,000 of them. And we ended up figuring out a way that we would make a set that had 2 of each of the colors of the Ion Stones in the Dying Earth set. And it would be a very limited edition set. My understanding, well, I shouldn't say them. I only made 700 of these total. So, and that's one of the lowest runs we've ever had of any DCC set we've ever made. So those, when they go into the backer kit, that will be like I said, one of the rarest dice sets we've ever made for DCC for Goodman Games.
Right. So if you back the Dying Earth Kickstarter and the backer kit comes out, if you want to add those dice, don't say, oh, I'll pick these up later on, so
And I don't think they were going to be even sold later. I think the backer kit is going to be it.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a chance like if there's like 6 left over from after all the backer kits are fulfilled, they might end up on the website, but or at a convention, but but for the most part, we're not going to be doing another run of those. So this is a one in trend. So all right, but speaking of dice, which will have a slightly larger, however, product run, is we have actually 4 sets, and actually we should have Brendan stick around because he actually designed one of these, but we have 4 sets which are coming out. And these are the Wizard Van Stellar Stowaways. That's the one that Brendan doing. And you were very you tell the story about this. So you were very, since Brendan's listening in the green room, you were very pleased about his whole mechanic for those anyway.
Oh, Brendan's my hero.
So there's also the Eldritch Ruin fragments, and there's the Supernal Star Seeds, and there are Velo's Crystallized Creation. So this, I'm sure Elena is bringing those up, kind of, as I'm going through that. So these are 4 new dice sets, and originally they just started with. Actually, it's funny, the ones that the Wizard Van Stellar Stowaways. Well, there was originally a plan maybe to do those as the holiday dice. There was some discussion about that until I think it was. So we brought up the fact as well. We only sell those one time a year, so maybe we should get away from the holiday theme. So that's and
I have again. That's an interesting set. It was actually a mess up. What the color that was Velo's, they totally didn't create the dice correctly because they had, due to COVID, they had inexperienced staff doing it. And they used their camera phone to take pictures of colors off a computer screen and then tried to make the dice based on their phone images. And that's where the Wizard Van set ended up coming from. And we told them not to throw them away. We go ahead and buy them. But that means it's a very unique set because the colors aren't necessarily consistent because they didn't have any roadmap to go on. It's a really excellent looking green, purple, and red kind of shifting tone. We can't reproduce them because the inexperienced guy didn't write down the Pantones he actually used, so no one knows. It is a very unique set. And I absolutely love Brendan's rolls because it actually turned a product from my company into an artifact in the DCC universe. And the mechanic that's in them is rolling all 14 of the dice in your set at once, and I absolutely love it.
So, so yeah, so this and the way Brendan set it up is that basically you can change the entire, you basically, he calls it a cosmic tilt. So
We
if you
actually
roll all
said
the
it's a
dice at once, you tell you what it is, and like you can literally, like, the entire, you got multiverse shifts, like
Yeah.
Langmar can suddenly show up, or you end up in the Shutter Mountains, or your evil doppelgangers or your good doppelgangers show up. So it's pure Brendan is what it.
My sons and
Yeah,
I are
yes, Bob the Magician. That's it. That's it. It is. It's Brendan. Yeah. So,
my sons and I are huge fans of the SCP universe, and so we actually describe that as the DCC SCP reality bending artifact. We haven't given it a number yet, but
that's the great thing about the DCC universe is that it's there's nothing is really written down in stone. So everything changes all the time. So that's that. And, so we have it's funny. Daniel Bishop did the insert for the Velos crystallized creations. He took one look at that and said, they look like candy. And
Velos is awesome. My
Yeah.
son is rewriting that into a 5e spell for his campaign because he just loved it.
There
A
we
candy
go.
making magic spell. That's awesome.
And yeah, and so I ended up doing the Eldritch Ruin one. So basically kind of like fragments of stuff from there's a little bit of backstory in there. There's no kind of set backstory for the DCC universe. And then Marzu Mashedri did the Supernal Starseeds. If you know Marzio stuff, his stuff is Marzio stuff.
These were really fun write-ups. The entire set. We are hard at work getting them all done. For those that don't know, all of the dice sets that you get from Goodman Games are packed up in essentially our living room. So we just put it out in an assembly line, and when the 2 tons of dice come in every time that we get an order in, our dining room, living room, bonus room, they basically would just turn into a small maze that we have paths between all the boxes. So
I've no and I was saying, you have a reputation amongst the DC fans of excellent customer service because this is a small, family operation. All these stuff is packed by hand, and some people are like, I got a set, and there was like no D7, and I got like 2 D14s. What should I do? Like, can I? And it was just like just email, email.
we'll
Impact.
fix it. We 99% of the time, that's actually not a user error on our end. Some of the dice are made in the same mold, and if they sort badly when they take them out of the mold, we end up with a 7 in the huge bag of 5s. And we try and catch that, but when you're dumping out into the bins to put the sets together, it's real easy to occasionally miss that was a 7. So
but it's human error.
but we always fix them. That's not a problem.
Rather have a human who can fix it rather than some mass-produced, machine somewhere who doesn't care.
Yep.
So we've got 2 more sets we want to talk about before we run out of time here. And this is, we announced these. Joe talked about these at What's New. So one of the things is that the impact dice, they change. We do limited time runs of a couple thousand, whatever it is. But Joe had the idea is that especially with more people coming into the game, he wants to have what we call the Evergreen Die Sets. So these are just going to be the sets which are always going to be available. So there's never an issue of like I just got into DCC and where do I get the dice, or this is it, or or when people get involved with the the starter and the introductory beginner bundle or whatever. So these are 2 sets which we're doing. We haven't come up with names for these sets right now, but because Harley has agreed to write for one of them. The one of them, we have the kind of the black and silver ones, which are kind of doing. So the kind of I think they were the Gorgon's
Marble
Breath.
black is what we call it.
Right.
Marble black with gold numbers.
Right. So that he's going to do a set of that, and then the other set is that was the prismatic spray, I believe, was originally under the impact set, and I'm going to be writing something for that. So
cool.
Harley's going to be doing something kind of in a warrior dwarf like vein, and I'm going to be doing something in a spellcaster vein. So we want something that, like, you know, you're just kind of getting into the game and you have this, and like, now here's something cool that you can use as part of like the kind of a core DCC. So
and I don't know how well you can tell from the image, the prismatic spray, what we call prismatic spray dice, it's all the primary colors swirled together. So it's red, blue, and yellow swirled with glitter. So it basically, you get a lot of the secondary colors as they mixed so as well. So it kind of creates that prismatic look.
The Hero Dragon MK, any more fluorescent dice or glow in the dark? Is that, well, I can never say no. I mean, you know, it's you know, it's one of those things is, you know, Joe and Tom have a discussion, more like Joe, like, if I'm for sure if it's anything like on my end of thing, Tom, you just get like an email at random, and this Joe's like, can we do this? You know, like.
Yep. He just gave me a new mission a few days ago to try and check out. So, and I sent him back my initial, I can definitely do it this way. And he said, no. So, all right, plan B. I don't know what plan B is, but we'll see if plan B exists. So just as kind of a recap, the Ironstone dice, you know, if you're back to the Dying Earth, the backers kit will be going live for that. You get a chance to pick them up then. The 4 set, the Wizard Band, Stellar Stowaways, the Elder's Ruin Fragments, Supernal Starseeds, and Velo's Crystallized Creation set, they are going to be out in November, it's looking like. So actually, you can get them right now if you go to the pledge manager for the Kickstarter. We're shipping right now.
Okay, there you go. Well,
so that I mean, you can either, they'll be in the stores in November, or if you need them faster, the pledge manager, you can get them there as well.
Okay, all right.
So,
and then the Evergreen set is going to be probably, you know, early next year, probably maybe first quarter sometime. I'm
supposed to hopefully have those in hand the first week of January, but we'll see.
Yep.
And then it's gonna take a month to pack them up. So yeah, we're probably looking February by the time.
That's why I say first quarter. You know, that's, you know, that's like 3 months. You know, so so those will be, those, like I said, those will be evergreen, and they will be on the they'll be available for the Goodman Games website. I don't know if Joe's talking about having those available on the Impact website as well, but you know, they will all.
Nope, they're not going to be on the Impact site. The goal with the Evergreens is that this will be the set that goes out to all the game stores, so that all the game stores all through North America can always have something they can get from distribution and have local.
That makes sense.
That's the goal with those 2 cassettes.
Okay. All right. So the quick roundup before we kind of wrap it up is what we remembered is that other dice which are in the loot. There is of course we've got the DCC 100 music is the music of the series is Chaos. We have, was it 3 sets of that?
4 sets.
4 sets. So I think we showed some of those off during the Kickstarter.
So Earth, Water, Fire, and Void.
So we had a whole we asked the backers to pick the one for Void and everything. So those will be you know, we're DCC 100 basically that's a big focus of stuff right now. But so you know, so once the backer kit is up for that and everything, will, you know,
those dice are done and actually going on the boat in 7 days.
There we go. I hope the boat's coming this way. Hope you're not sending those out of the country. That's it. And then we had, what was the other one that we missed?
Dark Tower,
right. Yeah, so that's right. Yeah, so then the backer pitch for Dark Tower is live now. So those that is the green and gold set, the gold for Mitra and green for set. So, and I think we showed those also off, I think, during the Kickstarter. So if you haven't checked it out, go look at the Kickstarter. we forgot about them in our rush to all the new stuff. We don't have image to show off here. So all right. Well, that's a roundup on dice. So if you like dice, this is your time, man. This is, you know, Brendan, you're going to have to write something. What happens when we roll all like 8 of those sets, and you just do tally up the numbers then. So, all right. So Tom, thank you very much for spending some time with me on the show, talking dice. I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to come back with a couple of updates on stuff for everybody else. So, all right, so stick around. Hey everybody. So thank you for sticking around. It's kind of been good to be back. It's been a little while since we've done one of these shows. It's been always nice hanging around and talking DCC stuff, and hanging out with you people out here in the communities. So updates on a couple things, because I know there's a lot of questions coming up on the chat. I'm keeping my eye out, but we things are moving forward. First of all, I just want to say is that in case you have not seen it yet, the Magic and Monsters of Lankmar is imminent on Indiegogo. That's going to be, they're saying next week, so that was on Sunday. So I don't know if that means this week or next week, but I think it's this week. But since that's more of a 5e thing, I don't have the 100%. But I did write. I'm responsible for writing Magic and Monsters of Lankmar. If you have friends who play 5th edition, and you want to introduce them into, say, some of the appendix and stuff, this is a perfect way to do so. So, maybe steer them that way, maybe get involved, and maybe stick some stuff under some Christmas trees. I don't know. I would just say, I mean, I love Lankmar. So, I'm very happy to be able to kind of spread the love to the 5e folks. So, so that is coming up very, very soon. Before anybody says it, Dungeon Denizens. And the official answer to that is soon. Okay, we talked about this at What's New with Goodman Games. Basically, all the writing is done. All the editing of all the monsters is done. We're just at this point just kind of waiting for art, and we're talking about 500 plus pieces of art, full color art. I remind you. So this one we want to have everything together before we launch the Kickstarter, but very soon. I might have more to say about this next month, but no promises just yet, but we're getting there. I know some people had some questions about the yearbook, the 2021 yearbook, which is, as you notice, we're running out of time in 2022. I just want to, we pitched about we posted about a couple of months back ago, is that it's been to the printers. We are estimating that next month, if pre-orders will start shipping in October. So we're trying to get that out before the year is over. So if you're pre-ordered, look for, hopefully be hitting in the mail in October. So that is on its way. Fun stuff in there, and I've been thinking more about actually next year. So I'm in a very yearbook state of mind. So so that is going to be that'll be happy with that. As we mentioned, the Dark Tower backers kit went live today. So if you've not got an email, check your spam folders, make sure that you know that, it's gonna, we have a date for PDFs to Dark Tower too. I do not know at this point. I think at the point is that basically everything is kind of, everything's through editing and everything's point. It's just it's just all a matter of kind of getting everything approved at this point, all laid out and everything. So, so there's no ETA on that yet, but coming in the future near you. Okay. So that was Dark Tower Kickstarter. As I mentioned, Dying Earth Dying Earth backers kit, probably 2-3 weeks out. So it's coming soon. So so we get those out and together, and hopefully start filling some add-ons. So if you're back Dying Earth and you want to get some add-ons for the backers kit and everything like that, hopefully, depending on what it is, we'll start getting those out in October. So all right. Also, so coming out, we're going to get a lot of releases coming out next month. One of which is going to be The Hunt for the Howling God, which is our first Empire of the East adventure. Actually, I'm going to have Julian Burnick on the show next month. We're going to talk about that. We'll also have Bob Brickman come on next month to talk about the holiday issue, the holiday module, because it's getting to spooky time of year. So so it's going to be a good show next October, and because this is September 12th. That means show number October is just about 3 weeks out. So so we'll bring it to you quicker than last time. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's about it. Thank you very much. Brickman holiday module getting pumped. Well, we'll call it that. We'll call it the Halloween module. We want, because if you say holiday module, Brendan will show up. So, well, all right. Thank you very much. I hope brought you some answers to some questions people have been wanting to know about where things are, about what's up with the Gongfarmers Almanac, and just getting things ready. I hope that all right. I hope everybody has a great autumn. For those of you who are in this hemisphere, it feels like this summer was just a really long, dry time, and I'm just looking forward to some cool weather again. So, be back here October 3rd, 3 weeks from now, for more Maw of Mike. So until then, I don't know, be awesome. Elena, take us out of here.